this mono black deck. Also having the chest cold open, and thank you Glaxar for the 5-month resub. Howdy Spikelings, it's me, Twitch's favorite Texan and #1 budget brewer aspiring Spike, back in the Shark Typhoon with another inexpensive deck for you to try to F&M. No Coffers mono black. Can this deck compete without Cabal Coffers? Will we get the Covenant F&M trophy? Will I stop making dumb jokes on these intros? Stay tuned to find out. Remember to like, sub, follow, support our sponsors, comment, and keeping your elbows themselves. Praise Clothis. Yeah, not the cheapest deck with Bowmasters, Ring, and Sheoldred, but at least you're saving some money on the mana base. I've been really liking the main deck here. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Obviously, there's like a few things you could change. Like you could cut the Shadow down for like 3rd Night's Whisper. You could cut the Murderous Cut for the 4th Children's Edict. You can do a few different things, but overall, I'm pretty comfortable with where it is, and I think like, at the very least, like the majority of the deck is unlikely to. For me, it's unlikely for the majority of the main deck to change. I really like the 4 push, 4 Thoughtseize, 26 lands with a 4 rebirth. The Griefs have been great. Sheoldred, Wondering, 4 Bowmasters, 4 Voidwalkers. These all feel pretty mandatory, and then like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instants and sorceries are kind of your flex spots. Again, mono black So one thing, I think it's most easily able to compare this deck to Red Black Scam. This deck gets to be a really good ring deck. Playing Bowmasters and Sheoldred and helps you answer opposing Bowmasters and helps you outgrind, peeing out opposing rings while also being a good ring deck yourself, which is just not something Rakdos Scam can do. Rakdos Scam also plays Ragavan, which is a card that I think is an all-time low post Modern Horizons 2 release, but it's still Ragavan. It's still a playable modern card, but is also a kind of at an all-time low. So it's also true that we've had Jund versions, Rakdos versions, which have performed pretty well, but you can't really play the Grief Malakir Rebirth package in those. And Rakdos, you get Fable, Ragavan, Terminate, which are pretty good. Although there's a lot of spots where Sheoldred's Edict is better than Terminate. You get Blood Moon to the sideboard, but you have a more painful mana base. You can't scam Grief, and I just think mono black is the way to go. And also, Giganta could be Tron. So if we have having double Field of Ruin makes this an easy keep if they're Tron, and so Giganta is usually Grixis Shadow or Tron, and I would keep this against both of those hands. Maybe if I didn't see Giganta, I'd mulligan. Take a Symbol of the Legion to improve the deck. Okay, I'll take that into consideration, Zach. What are the field targets of mine? Triumphs, or is Tron popular right now? It's just it's honestly kind of how thinking about how Bowmasters, oh, what cards are people drawing? It's there's a lot of important lands to target in this format. Urza Saga, the Tron lands, the bounce lands of the Titan having the Field of Ruins is so nice there. Against Murktide, they don't play a basic mountain, and so a lot of times you can field them off their red sources. You can get people off Leyline Binding Domain. You can get people off double Yawgmoth players off double white. There's just a lot going for the card. Oh, also start cracking your baubles on your main phase so that Bowmaster doesn't trigger. I'm doing a limited testing off stream. Yes, but probably not as much as I need to be. I'm just mostly planning on cramming. They don't usually play an island, so let me field here. Then Thoughtseize. So I can Grief the Shadow next turn. Let's take the Drown. Against Yawgmoth, it's tense because Running 6 existing, but yeah. I found I've been crushing the Yawgmoth matchup. Obviously, Rin is really good against you, but I don't know. When we played this deck at the challenge the last weekend, we beat Yawgmoth twice, 2 or 3 times. Oxygen still green red. I thought I updated it. Can I explain the bobble thing you just said with Bowmaster? So a lot of times in the past, it would be common to crack bobble on your opponent's upkeep after you play it turn 1. This is kind of what the habit that people are in. But you need to crack it main phase, because if you crack in your opponent's upkeep, they can just go land, play Bowmaster, then draw, then like trigger the Bowmaster off the card that you drew. I think I just copied and pasted the green-red list and then didn't change it actually. Want to continue over our record before today? I just don't want to give too much data out, but also like I don't know. I feel like it. This is mostly the data thing. Okay, Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize. And they're strategically not cracking their fetch until they need to cast a blue spell, probably. They could probably attack with their Bowmasters here. Like it's seeing a 4-0 to Hydralist or PT, is that not a thing? Well, when I'm streaming, that's not a thing. Off stream, yeah. Yeah, off stream, yeah. Okay, so they drew a fetch line for turn. They're going to get Gigantha. I'll just go ahead and Field of Ruin them here. Look at their swamp. And hopefully we can draw a spell. Obviously, we have to kind of land heavy hand. Maybe could have been a teensy tiny bit more specific. I think this version is ahead versus Scam. I think it's super close, but it's like it's hard for any deck to ever like feel like it's super ahead against Scam. Okay, well. Yeah, I should have played Edgar. They hit a Voidwalker. Bummer. Windows closing. Need like a Sheoldred. How about another land? Fetch to thin. I feel like my life total is maybe more relevant than thinning here. I think it's, yeah, almost definitely more relevant. Yeah, I'm dead actually even if I top deck Sheoldred, so I have to draw like Ring, which is awkward because of the Bowmaster. No, we're not playing Damnation, it's just too many 4s. Found the black-white version's deck pretty ahead against Scam. I don't think there's any deck that's like super ahead against Scam. It's just like this. It's just Copium, like, you know what I mean? The Bowmaster. Close. So if we had one more life, right? Because we Bowmaster. Block, take 4. Okay. Do you feel more for conceding at the basic land count? No, I know the basic land count is 2. I'm expecting the basic land count to be 2, basically always. We're bringing the hers. Bring in the extra cut. Hammer is like 70-30 against Scam. That's just not true. That's great, exceptionally exaggerated. You can keep the Shadow of Doubt in on the play. There are very few 70-30 matchups in Modern, and it's definitely not Scam versus Hammer. Open Decklist Tournament, Magus. Mulligan the one-lander. Keep this, put back second castle. Pretty good hand. Is there additional bonus here? Not having to worry about what land to fetch, or is that so minor? I mean, to me, like that kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna make a mistake fetching. That's just not like a big bonus to me. No. I'll just, you know, I can just plan in other decks to fetch correctly. Green Black Reclaimer Saga. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Elvish Reclaimer is just not a card I'm gonna register. And if I'm gonna play like, a black-based Saga deck, I'm definitely splashing red for Ren. But yeah, it could be cool. Leave back a Orc for Ragavan. Use the heat. I love they didn't draw Thoughtseize because that would turn on the Drown. Cabal Stronghold sounds stronger than Coffers. With the Shadow, they have drowned 2 mystery cards. So we know both of them are Spell Pierce. The way the stream usually goes. How many players? I think like 250, 300, something like that. The reason for no coffers, it's a bit complicated, but like, so like one thing that I've been we've talked about it a lot, but to expand on like some of the other ideas too, it's like, you know, Coffers doesn't help you cast any of your 4-drops. Like Coffers comes online and gives you 5 mana, and so it's like it's good like after you've resolved your 4 mana spells is typically when the card Cabal Coffers shines. So like, why is this a card that we're like particularly interested in playing? Does that make sense? Like why like and so it's a bit reductive, but it's like Coffers is good when you have the ring going and you have like lots of cards in your hand and lots of mana, but it's also like drawing Cabal Coffers can be very, very awkward, and you have like lots of non-functional hands because of Cabal Coffers. You have lots of super slow starts. You play like clunky unplayable cards like like the Black March, and you play like Relic of Progenitus, and it's you know, obviously don't have to play those cards, but Karn is like pretty weak, I think, and you have so many 4-drops. There's just like a lot I don't like about it, I guess. And it's like Coffers breaks even at 4 mana, and in a deck that curves out at 4, it's very awkward. Very awkward. Is it the same 75 from the challenge? I think it's maybe like a card or 2 different. I've been trying out some different stuff, but I kind of ultimately ended up liking the challenge list a lot. Card is great against opposing strings and finishing games. Yeah, the finishing games part is the part that like I really have like an issue with, because it's just like, sure, like all of your like top end 4-drops should need to be good at finishing games. You know what I mean? This should be true of any 4-mana spell you ever register in Modern. But there's a ton of times that Karn is bad, and the Coffers deck mana curve is awful. The mana curve on the Coffers deck is really, really awkward. How you just have like 12 4-drops in a deck that like in a deck where Coffers doesn't help you cast 4-drops. And you get to play, and also like it's all of those points, and this deck gets to play Grief Malakir Rebirth. You can't play Grief Malakir Rebirth with like the Coffers. They didn't heat Sheoldred in response to my ring tap? What the fuck? But you also get to play Grief Malakir Rebirth, which you can't really do in normal Coffers, I think. So it's kind of like a lot of these points. They drew it? No, that was... Oh, they drew it for turn. Right, they drew it for turn. Sorry. I thought wait, were we not still in their upkeep? No delirium until I killed the shadow. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, we were still in their upkeep, though. Grief would be the trade-off for Card, fair enough. I mean, it's like, it's that plus like a dozen other points, too. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Yeah, you're right. I think I gave them delirium. That's okay, though. Yeah, people were saying my mic was off yesterday. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. It was fine. I'll try that again. Gaming, 5 months. Thank you.
2 raindrops. And she said,
and then she ran up here.
I'm scared.
It's crazy how hot it is every single day and how it rains like every other day. It's such a weird summer.
It's like, yeah, it's very overcast,
yeah.
but still so hot.
Yeah, it's so hot and it's just steamy outside.
Our own personal sauna.
Yeah.
You got both dogs.
Ah, damn it. Okay, keep the card on top. Ratchet Bomb would be a good draw. So we can go next turn. Grief, Malakir, Rebirth, Murderous Cut. Hopefully we draw a different card other than Sheoldred. Maybe we'll draw Path of Peril and then we'll be able to drown it. That'd be perfect. Or yeah. So if I go Grief, Malakir, Rebirth, Murderous Cut, I lose the Sheoldred. The Sheoldred seems potentially very good right now. I don't know that I can afford to not do all 3 here. Seems pretty close. Seems pretty close. Let's pitch the Sheoldred. Maybe we better play field and consider another field for next turn. They definitely have a drown. So we're also like turning delirium on for them, which is pretty bad. I've definitely been losing to like these hands where like mulligan on the draw, don't have 1 drop, they have double channeler. Feels pretty fine to lose these kind of games. Field of Ruin, their Steam Vents, then Scam. No blue. I mean, but Drown doesn't do anything. Why do I need to play around Drown here? I just take it with the Greaves. Like, even the Sheoldred, I'm only gaining 2 life a turn. Okay, so they heat in response. Surveil, surveil. They are going to have delirium. So I think I'm not paying. Don't like that they're keeping a card on top. What a spew? This play doesn't make sense. On their end? What doesn't make sense about it? Or shouldn't they? I guess they should have. Like I don't know. Didn't it work out for them? Like I'm gonna take both the cards. Should they have pierced first? I guess they should have pierced first. Oh, they can't pierce first because I take the pierce. Yeah. Or maybe I take the heat. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They want their surveils. Path of Peril will be good. We only have one. Sheoldred would be probably slow. Ring would be probably slow. And we, top deck a land, we would lose. Especially because they have a drown in their hand. Kuro, for the 12 months, thank you. Welcome back. Chandler's so good. That Thoughtseize on my Bowmaster is also really key here in this game. Bizarro, 30 months, thank you. Okay, too little, too late. 1-1. Playing it, you really remember the games where you win because of it, and you don't remember the hands that you have to mulligan because you have Sign of Blood, not Night's Whisper. And I think that that's just more costly. Do you think Esper Control with Ring could work? I don't know. I don't know that that sounds necessarily very good. Against Chromatic Sphere, you need to main deck the Bowmaster. The card draw of Chromatic Sphere is not a trigger that you can respond to. 7th burn spell, but not 4th bolter heat. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know which of the two coach. If I'm recommending the 4th bolt or the 4th heat at the moment, probably the 4th bolt because of like the rings. But I'm not. But also like there's a lot of good arguments to be made for 4th heat over 4th bolt. I just don't feel very strongly one way or the other. It's like mostly the same. So this could also be a better Sign and Blood game. Yeah, there is a lot of Tron. I think the Tron matchup's not so bad, especially like an open deck list because you need like a field or a Voidwalker. So reveal an Urza's Tower. So we'll just get him for 3, draw step field them. Might off break the ice. Well, with all the main deck fields, me being on Voidwalkers in this deck, I don't think you need them. But I do think you need to have a plan for Tron. So you're not going to see me just have no plan. I may lose. I think I have to ring. Do you like Grixis Shadow decks? I think they're pretty medium. They're okay. They're playable. I think they're not as good as Scam. They're maybe a little bit better than Murktide. Maybe worse than Fair Breach. But it's also you can kind of think of Grixis Shadow as Fair Breach too. Shadow Delta's pretty good. I like it. I think the first copy is correct to play. So they reveal an Ugin, which doesn't get rid of my ring. They also can't cast it this turn. They have their own copy of the ring. I have a Bowmaster, but they can tap it and not take any damage this turn, which is a pretty big deal. I also can't target them with any discard, but maybe I can find another field off my ring. Opinion on unfair breach with ring. The deck looks pretty clunky. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of that deck. It's okay. It's fine. It's playable. I don't play 4 colors. Okay. We've already hit power plant once. That's what they search for with their scrying. Hit the power plant again. Draw 2 more. discard a Fatal Push. Oh, I forgot to attack. What happens? Yeah, if you target a 1/1 army with your Bowmaster trigger, you do get to draw. Your army survives and it becomes a 2/2. So obviously, they have a natty power plant number 3. We're in not good shape, and you know they have 8 cards in their hand. They can draw up to 10. Do you want Stomping Ground in your counterspell deck? You can play a Stomping Ground. It's okay with like only like that. If that's your only non-blue source, it's okay to play one. It's not like necessarily amazing, but I think it's probably what you want to do. Yeah. But a breeding pool could also be just as good. I'm not really sure. But a lot of times you're going to want to go like Stomping Ground, Basic Island. How do you feel about the Mystic Forging engine? Fun at FNM? Probably not fun for your opponent at FNM, but fun in general at FNM, sure. I think that deck's very powerful. It's very fast. It's consistent, but it is really weak to disenchants in a way that is hard in a super competitive setting. Will deck text be available later in the stream? Deck text most stuff because PT training? Yeah, mostly because of PT training. I've just been like so like mentally fatigued lately, and I really need to just be focusing right now. So I don't know. I'll put them back on if I'm feeling up to it, but I just have not been really feeling up to it lately. Just if I wasn't so mentally fatigued, I'd be doing them. So they're just dead if they have nothing. I thought they'd at least play another ring. How's draft prep been going? Not well, honestly, but I still feel confident in my ability to cram. It's just tough because like the team has been really like we've been really focused on constructed, and so it's been tough to like try to cram limited testing in and then, you know, keep helping with constructed. Just not that many hours in the day. Okay, up a game. Shout out to Field of Ruin. This is the sideboard plan. Cut the pushes, 2 needles, and 2 Tourachs, or 3 Tourachs. Athena. Oh, yes. Stop. Beautiful 7. Prince on a mold to 5. My Spanish practice, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be listening to Spanish lessons in the car. I'm gonna be doing all this stuff, and there just has not been time. There's just not been time. Let's keep Second Grief because we have got the Voidwalker here. Is Path of Peril the best 3-mana black board wipe? Yeah, we could maybe be playing Dead of Winter on the side, but Path of Peril kills Sanctifier always, even with a hammer on it, which is really nice. If you're messing with 6 field, 8 field, liking 6 to have more fetches for Delirium. It's not about that, it's about Delirium. We have no Delirium. It's about number of black sources. We're trying to have a Karsten approved number of black sources. Revolt? Yeah, sure. Athena, stop licking your paw. Lucy's gonna lick her paw, then she's gonna be all fucked up again. Wait, they didn't play their land? It's kind of funny. Is this them playing on Field of Ruin? Science typically go Cotillion, English, then Spanish. Okay. I mean, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, Lucy is like a radioactive sewer dog, and she just licks her paws until she's bleeding, and it's just her tongue is so rough, is what the vet said, and then so I have to be on top of her, and then like Athena's fine, but I feel like Lucy is gonna be mad if I tell her to stop and not Athena. It's a whole thing. They do have another mine. So they need a top deck. You get some booties for her. Yeah, but it's hot outside. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. They did not top deck Ugin. This is a bluff. This is a pump fake. They did the top deck. They top deck Leveler, but they're just dead. And Leveler sucks, so. Maybe Lucy's anxious. No, Lucy is like the least anxious dog in the world. It's so funny. Athena's very anxious though. Ooh, a Thoughtseize and a Karn. Pretty good chests. Alright, let's run it back. Oh.